Good evening. I'm here to take a challenge because some other YouTuber that's in the Magic community, I think MTG Purple, thinks that anyone is able to make content about Magic. So let's see if I can. Let's see if this does well. Let's see if it fails. And this is one of those things I've actually been interested in doing for a while myself because, I'm not going to really want to talk about like the new sets unless there's a historical context or anything like that. I don't necessarily want to talk about all the finances and everything in regards to that. We'll probably dabble into that some, and probably not going to show off like a lot of stuff with the pre-releases and everything, because my place as the Magic community is a lot different than a lot of these other channels. I feel, I've been around for a long time in the game. I've been playing since 93, 94. I know about 25 years of Magic. I've picked up the magazines and still have a lot of them. We have exact print runs of some of the older sets. And we remember running down to the store to pick up the magazines, and some of the other cool boxes that they used to make in the day too. We had a time when we were playing, when we were just making decks, having fun. I saw the reserve list come into effect and understand the implications about why it did and how it saved Magic so that everybody can play it today. I remember a time when Magic the Gathering was marketed as a collectible trading card game. It was a collectible card game. And somewhere that's changed along the lines. I remember when the cards actually had unique artwork and it wasn't all high-res digital CG and all blasé. I remember a time when the cards didn't bend. I also remember a time when the foils started coming into the market and we just looked at them and went, this is stupid. I know what is more rare than a mythic rare nowadays or a masterpiece card. Okay, sure, I still buy and collect the cards. Okay, I still play. I have my commander decks. I have my boxes with the cards. Quite frankly, I still have over 100,000 cards in the collection. I have them all inventoried. I have sealed product. I have everything. I am the Timmy that has gone through and been burned. I've traded away dual lands. I've scratched up the Power 9 on cement surfaces. I remember when we didn't have sleeves and we just played and everything. But we still cared about those cards being able to be tucked away, and having some value for trading or just for bragging rights. When you could take a card and go, I got this card and it's, worth some value. I also remember looking at cards and going, I'm not going to spend $100 on a Mox. Oh boy, do I wish I had spent $100 on a Mox nowadays. So yeah, I remember some of these cards back in the day, like Lord of Tressorhorn. That was a $10 rare from Alliances. But nowadays people look at it and go, well, this is garbage and it's only worth $1. And some of the cards that were considered garbage fires back in the day that are now sought after cards. Dream Halls was considered one of the worst cards in the set for when it came out for Stronghold. But no, everybody wants it now. It can be played. It has value and everything like this. It's ridiculous. I remember a time when Magic wasn't on top, where Pokemon took over. And I've watched the tournaments come and go. I've helped organize tournaments. I've played in Friday Night Magic, and I've been the rules lawyer. And I remember a time when we used to be able to have Magic tournaments without the judge program because everything did not have to go through the DCI. So all these things I see, even the things I read now on like Reddit or Twitter and everything else like this. The funny thing is, a lot of you don't realize it, but these arguments have always been going on. Okay, there was a time when artwork was controversial on the cards, like Demonic Tutor because it had a pentagram. Ooh, okay. A cover by Rob Alexander. This was controversial, and the parents wrote into the magazine. I have read it in paper form right here, as much griping as we hear on the internet about the things that people are doing in Magic nowadays. You know, why are there so many female pirates? That's a good question, isn't it? Maybe we'll go back and look at some of the other reasons. Or why cards aren't being reprinted? Oh, it has to be because of the reserve list. It's not. It really isn't. And a lot of this history has been lost because people don't have the magazines, or they didn't live through it, because so many Magic players have come and gone over the years. And there's a lot of older ones, you know, that are hitting our midlife crisis nowadays, that really are thinking about getting back and collecting the game, because we want the gold cards. We want to be able to relive the nostalgia from our childhoods. So with all this, I'm going to bring some of my perspective of being a person that is a collector, that plays around the kitchen table, that you don't see at the tournament scene, and I'm one of the evil people that are buying up some of the old cards, or just been sitting on in our collection for years as it is. You know, so welcome as we explore for Jenny to Fedora some of the things with Magic. And maybe you all learn some things or get a different perspective, because sure, like I said, I might talk about some finance, because, you know, an alpha and beta common card nowadays is something that, even though I played with, is more rare than a mythic rare nowadays. Oh yes. And some of those prices are so undervalued. You know, there's other things that people don't realize. Like alpha set sold out in 6 weeks. Nobody realizes that nowadays. Or the fact that the alpha and beta sets, 20% of them were sold in a silly little town in the Southwest called Albuquerque. That place that Bugs Bunny always made a wrong turn at? Yeah, they're here. Or at least they were. And this brings some interesting perspectives to the market too, when you think about it, because you got to know about the culture in the Southwest also at the time, and even now. But we're going to take trips down memory lane. We will talk about the Duelist, when Wizards published a magazine, their official policies and their official responses on things such as the reserve list, or why they've decided we're just never going to print cards again like Time Walk and Time Twister and the Moxes, because they are broken cards. As much as people on the internet are going, I want them, oh my god, get rid of the reserve list, and why are these crappy cards like Keeper of Treasure Hoard and all these cards from Ice Age on the reserve list? There were reasons for that. There really was. And I think also, as we look at some of the numbers, and we look at some of the old websites that are not around, such as Crystal Keep, when we start to talk about even the numbers there that are, you kind of have to do some paper napkin math with, you know, it's interesting how much product was actually put out when foreign sets started and what happened along the way when things were just kind of fun to play. When you could get oversized cards like Jester's Cap. Oh yes. You know, and when there was an actual good story to Magic that started, you know, with Dominaria, with Weatherlight, with Urza and Mishra, and we went with the Weatherlight crew with Captain Sisay and Gerard and Volrath and everything like this along the way. When Planeswalkers were gods, not these people nowadays that are vulnerable. No, you know, the Planeswalkers nowadays, not the same thing as what it was back in the day where they could destroy entire worlds. Even Nicol Bolas is nothing compared to what he once was. So, if you're interested, why don't you take a look? You know, it's going to be a different perspective, like I said. And maybe I might prove MTG Purple wrong, and I'm going to utterly fail, you know, at being able to put out Magic content on the internet. Maybe I'll just have to go and talk about Pokemon instead, or the other 43 failed CCG or TCG games that were out at the time. Or maybe this is going to be some great conspiracy. Who knows? But let us know what you think, what you want to hear from us, and we got lots of things planned as we go forward here.
But, you know, we did get this spiffy mountain card right here. Sort of matches my outfit. What do you think? Put that right there for later. Might need that. Always need some lands, don't we?